5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hit it.
Put my head down, shuffle my feet. You'll never get the best of me. You're sticks and you're stones. Oh, I don't used to build a home. And I may have sleepless nights, but I enjoy the moonlight. I collided with the earth and met my maker in the eyes. I should have turned away, but I stayed. I collided with the earth and met my maker in the eyes. I should have turned to go, but my love trembles. Pitch black, I open my eyes out. I see life for the first time. Hey, you got something to say. I wouldn't listen anyway. I may have to change my name. Never know me like you say.
And hello, I'm Michael.
And I'm Grace.
And together we are California Travel Videos.
And
Woohoo.
we have got a very special guest. I'll be in and out as I was last week, but I'm going to go ahead and turn this show over to your host, Michael, and our special guest, Dee. So we welcome Dee, and we thank you for being here.
Hey, Dee.
Thank you for having me.
The one, the only. So, God, you're looking great as always today. That beautiful smile. And, I was taking a look at some of your recent videos to kind of get refreshed. And I saw you have the one scissors with the knives, which has the little red centerpiece there. And you said you use that for everything else. And I thought, I wonder if she uses that for her hair. No, I know you don't.
Nope, not for that. I do have special hair scissors, but almost talking about hair, I almost got the clippers out. I actually did get the clippers out. Almost cut my hair before your live today. I said, maybe I better not. I don't want to go to the live stream bald.
You don't want to end up like me.
Well, I could. I'm ready. I can't take it anymore.
I know with that heat you've got there is like, hoo-hoo. I imagine that. Well, tell us about toasty Quartzsite today.
Well, it's not that bad. I have a great air conditioner now, so I'm never hot in here, ever.
You said it was over 10,000 BTUs, right?
Yeah, it's 12,000.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's great.
Wow.
I actually have to turn it off periodically. I just get too cold.
I was just going to say, I feel good for you, but I feel sad for Max, your Chihuahua. Chihuahuas like it like 90 to 100 degrees. So
right,
you
and
have
I
like
do
a special
too.
jacket
I'm like
for
a
Max?
Chihuahua. I like it 90 to 100. So I get it cool in here, but then I have to turn it down.
Yeah,
so.
Your most recent video, which we'll talk about in a bit, as you're panning around and I see the thermometer is 90 and everybody else sees that and some people, oh, it's 90. Are you okay? And it's like, yeah, that's kind of what you're used to, aren't you?
And I got comments on that.
Speaking of comments, let's take a look at some of these wonderful comments that we've got there. And first of all, Sue, Lucky Dog Production moderator, hoo-hoo. And I don't know if we have some more others, but for all of our moderators, thank you very much for being here. We love you. And let's see who we've got in the house today. Who is that who puts the glasses on back, 40, 50 years ago and looks to all the little kids and things? Is that,
I don't know.
It was, I think Captain Kangaroo or somebody did, but well, anyway, we'll go through and see who we, so I see Ray there, Van Life Rocks. Howdy, Ray. Hope you're doing well today. And down there in Southern California, sunny Southern California. And who else we've got in here? I see Rayleigh Creative Travel. Hey, all good to have you here in James Cantonese. Always great. You're doing the raid from Captain Jack. Got to see the end of it there. Sometimes, we get ready at the last minute, getting everything going, but I always go watch the full show again. So anyway, it was a fun show you guys had today.
And hello, Linda Barker.
Linda. Hello, Linda. Yeah. And so good to have Blaine here. And who else? Jill Weatherby. Happy trails to you. Hope you're having a good day today. And let's see, Fordman, a.k.a. Kenny Oaks. Hey, Kenneth. Hope you're having a great day. And thank you for coming over from the CJS Radio. Who else we got here? And Captain Jack. prepare to be boarded. I wonder if he has on his some sexy tank top today. What I saw of it was like he's a little bit more moderate, but he got frisky last week. And I had the gals kind of batting their eyes at him.
Yeah,
Prairie
I saw
Life,
Red.
hey.
Red is here. Red
Is here. Hey, Redheaded, good to have you here. And I guess we got Jill here, and who else? I'm going to do like Ray, scrolling. We've talked about Linda. Linda, glad to have you here. And who else we got down in the house still scrolling? Oh, lots of comments coming from the people who are here. Redheaded, hoping you're having a great day. Are you in the great state of Illinois? I think that's where she still is. Or I wonder if she's on the move again already.
I don't know.
Chibna, the woman with the beautiful sunglasses on. I think I should get some sunglasses sometimes to wear. Get like, who is that? The Casey Neistat style. No shirts
Sometimes
tonight.
I have to wear them in the rig because my eyes are burning, and I take too much light. It burns my eyes. So,
You know, in fact, I've noticed that over the years, shall we say, is that I find when I go outside, it used to be it didn't bother me, but now it's like, you know, it's kind of bright for a while. I don't know if the optic nerve doesn't like shrink as much first, or it's just the age. But we got to have something to bitch about. And if that's the worst I've got, you know, it could be worse, right?
I hear you. With my bad eyes, I know what it is, but it's
Yes.
when the air conditioner hits my eyes, like right now, they're burning. I may have to put my sunglasses on, but
My mother the same way. She's 94, and I hope she's
Yeah.
on the show. Mom, if you're here, my mother Delia, and she goes by the name Dee sometimes also.
Okay.
She lives about 30 miles north of us up in Santa Rosa, California, and we're going to interview her one of these days. She used to be in a well, when I was a boy, we did the camping thing. You know, you take the hot rocks and take them out of the coals, and you put them by your feet in the sleeping bag to warm up. If you didn't have a dog, you definitely put your dog in your sleeping bag if you had one. But eventually they got to the Airstream, so they found the good life. And she says it's cold and rainy in Denver now. She's
Colorado.
Son. I think she was going to go see her son too.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. So okay, we're going to get some more.
She's heading this way.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for better or worse. Well, we've got good weather here in Sonoma County, California, north of the Golden Gate Bridge, and Grace has got a wonderful background photo for us there. So
And
it's nice
I
to
love
have some.
Sonora. It's beautiful up there in Sonoma and Sonora and Petaluma. I think you're close to Petaluma.
We are definitely in Petaluma.
And I used to live in San Rafael, just below Petaluma.
So
And I
I'm going
worked
to get to
in-
that.
Yeah, I worked in Sausalito for about 6 years.
Oh,
So,
you've got all the good stuff already. No, we're going to get to Sausalito.
Oh,
That
okay.
is
All right.
Grace is one of her favorite cities is Sausalito. Mo bang for your buck.
beautiful.
Tim, good to have you here. And we're going to do a homage on his name because I know that when you do things, you like to do it economical. And we're going to talk about Dee also getting more bang for her buck. So we'll get to that. So yeah, we're going to have. And I think we have Van Vita. I'm going to have to get a way to pronounce that. I don't know if I should do it with a. Well, I would like to say that the Canadians have an accent, but they say we have the accent and they don't. But Paula, great to have you here. And I know you've done a lot of interviews for Dee. I think you may be top. We're going to go through some of the people who have interviewed her before and talk about all the good things. But she's got her money's worth out of you, Dee. You've got a lot of great interviews. You two really kind of hit it off, don't you?
Actually, we didn't do that many interviews, but one that was supposed to be a good interview, and my internet messed up. Then I did it on one of her live streams, and we had a really long interview.
Keep going. Uh-huh.
And at that point, she took that live stream and turned it into 3.
That's what I was just going to say.
Yeah.
She went chop. She took one.
she did a
and
good job
That was
with
very
them.
clever to make it 3.
Yeah, very smart.
You know, some people are of the mind, this is for us YouTube producers, is that it's a good idea to make them to where they're not live streams, but to make them where they are instead individual shows. And, there's 2 schools of thought. I've talked to like Kevin, the NOMOC experience. And he kind of likes the idea of live streams, and we'll maybe get a chance to talk a little bit about, some of them are discovery videos and some of them are community videos. And I think you mostly do community videos, but you love to do the others too, don't you?
Yeah, I do a little bit of everything. I'm a Jane of all trades.
Jane of all. Where's Tarzan, by the way?
I don't have a Tarzan. I need a Tarzan.
Oh, gosh, you've had enough of those. We'll get into that. But so let's start right off the bat by, I'll get to a little bit about the history of how you've got there. But right now, today, you're over 14,500 subscribers. Congratulations. Namaste for that. You are awesome, running on all cylinders, and then some, going off to the clouds. And you got your 4,000 hours a year ago. Now, I was like, really? You had a lot of subs back then, maybe 1,500. So you were kind of van life voyages, weren't you? You had your subs before you had your hours, didn't you?
Right. Actually,
Good.
I had, yeah. It took a little longer to get the hours, but bottom line is I was already ready to be monetized way before I actually got monetized, because I didn't realize what I had to do to get there to make YouTube recognize me.
It's true. You think you just do a good thing and people are loving it, but then you realize the almighty algorithms and things are when they change their T's and C's, their terms and conditions. It's like, well, what hoop do we have to jump through next, right?
I didn't know how. I had to put in a code to get it running.
To get it, to get like the money clicked in. Yeah. Right. It's like they got to notify, that I got to send something to your address, Steve. We got to know that you're real out there.
Right.
And you got all these little codes and things.
Yeah.
But you have 565,000. I don't think I'm going to say it, because you said sometimes you get nervous there and you talk slower. It makes me nervous just to think 565,000 views. Think that you have over 500,000 eyeballs on you. How does that make you feel? Wow.
It's overwhelming sometimes. It really is. It's a lot.
Because
as my channel grows, it gets harder and harder to maintain it, to keep in touch with people. You almost, you can't spend 10 minutes for each response to comments.
Now that's it. And we'll get talking about your emails later, how you are kind of like, what is it? 30 and a Wake Up, I guess it is, with Kevin. And he still does all of them. He's got like 70,000 subs. And he believes that the intimacy and having engagement are all very important.
Yeah, it is.
And you certainly try to do that yourself, don't you?
It's getting to the point where I'm not going to be able. What I'm doing right now is I would read every comment, no matter what. I always read all my comments, but I've gone to the point, unless there's a specific thing I need to respond to, I'll just say thanks or hit a like and a heart or something to let them know that I saw it and appreciate it. But I can't respond typing to everyone. It takes too long, too many.
Yeah, you do the best you can.
I get hundreds of comments every day. Hundreds.
Yeah, well, that's good. I mean, you do want to be where you are, show that you love and you care for the community. Right. That's so important. You're not too full of yourself at all, Dee, and we admire not only the life you've gone through and to come out the other end, but just your grace that you have now. And we'll talk about Amazing Grace a little later in the show. Trust me, we will.
Okay.
So at any rate, I saw that you're just running and clicking. You've got a live stream you're crunching out tomorrow. I guess it's going to be on preparation for kind of the newer RV crowd, so they can kind of get up to speed when they're out in their RV. No,
actually, what it is, it's a premiere starting at 5 o'clock. I'm sorry, 6:15 tomorrow night. And what it is preparing to be a content creator.
Oh, okay. Got it.
I'm starting training videos of what I've learned about being a content creator and how to do it. So that's going to be the premiere, part 1. And then I'm going to go through,
Wonderful. So I noticed we'll get later on, we'll talk about your playlists. And maybe at some point, because you've had some recently for people who have over 1,000 now, what, and you've had a handful others that, you know, the different stages you go through. Do you think you'll maybe eventually have a playlist where people can kind of, for those of us who like to binge?
I do have one. It's called Dee's Playlist. It's every video I've ever created. It's called Dee's Playlist. So all my videos are on that playlist.
Okay, we'll talk about your playlist a little bit, but that's great to know.
Yeah.
So, any rate, I guess that tell us a little bit about your community tab, because I think a lot of people, they're not even aware there's a community tab over there, and you do some good things for the community, meaning beyond yourself too. So tell us what your strategy is if people want to go take a look at your community tab.
Well, in fact, I hope they will. My community tab, if I'm putting out a video that I think a lot of people would like to know about ahead of time, I'll put it on the community tab. If I watch a video that I'm really impressed with, somebody that I really like their content, oh, there we go.
Well, oops.
Then I go ahead and post them. And I do a shout out for that channel on my community tab. And I don't do it all the time, but I definitely do it when I really find something I really like. Because YouTube really doesn't like you to put more than 3 posts on your community tab a day. So I don't do that many, but I do some.
In fact, did you know that, and I believe this is true. Well, first, I don't know if the tags are that important anymore. We won't get into a long discussion there. But I've read where if you have over 15 tags, that they don't use any of your tags. Did you know that?
Oh, I don't know. I know they use the first 3 main ones.
Okay. But I've heard that if you put more than 15, like 16, then they just don't use them at all. But I don't know how important they are.
It's just words. It's just taking up space in your... If you're talking about keywords versus tags, okay?
Right.
Keywords are a little different than tags.
Yes.
So keywords can go in your description box. Tags are separate, and I have channel tags. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's funny how the rules change, but you seem to be very good at keeping up with this all, aren't you?
Sometimes.
Well, we know enough to be dangerous anyway, don't we?
Well, wait till you see the premiere. I'm talking about all kinds of stuff on that, about what you're going to have to do if you want to create content. But I keep it simple. What it is for the basic, absolute beginner. So I go back to where I was started, and I remember how hard it was for me to learn everything. So, yeah.
Well, it's interesting the new ways that YouTube tries to help us to reach the audience or give the audiences what they want and be competitive. I mean, they have to compete against TikTok and all these others. So they have, like the shorts for those who really only have like an attention span of 60 seconds, or maybe they just don't have a lot of time. Fine. They just want to cut to the chase. And then we have the live streams. And then we have, like you talked about, a premiere. So, it's a recorded show, but you're saying I will interact with you when you're watching it, which is kind of, it's not a live stream, but it has some similarities because you're both able to chat with the audience.
It's just a video with the option of having live chat. That's really what it is.
When you get like from 14,500 to 145,000, you might do like some of them. And that is that once you've released the video, you'll stay on the chat for the first half hour. You can't obviously be there, day after day trying to keep up with the chat, as you get many thousands on each of these. But they will, at least try to be there for the first half hour. And so because they want to encourage people to watch it right away to make YouTube to kind of promote it. So, it's something that as you find you have less time and you say, if it's not even a premiere, you can just go ahead and say, well, the first hour, I'll try to comment to as many as they can.
Right.
Well, hey, let's go a little bit and talk about what you say about yourself. you say a lot about yourself, but wait a second. I
Yeah.
don't know if like when you were younger, if it was like, when they talked about that song, Love Potion Number 9 as a teen, and, you were kind of seeing a lot of these handsome young men. But I'm wondering now, is that if you've had some permanent truth serum, because, you are always telling the truth. And what's your theory on that?
It's my morals.
It is. It's your ethics,
It's
isn't
my
it?
morals and my ethics, exactly. I don't believe in lying. I can't say I never lie. I mean, I'm sure everybody has lied, but I try not to. And sometimes, of course, as you get older, you forget things. So you get sometimes things twisted up a little bit. And I'll say something that happened and I was not actually at the time I thought it was. So I forget things. But yeah, I always try to be honest, sometimes to a fault.
Well, and I meant it in the most sincere and flattering way is that you do make yourself vulnerable with your intimacy. And
Yeah,
I think
do.
that's, if it's not everybody's cup of tea, you feel comfortable enough with who you are. And especially with the journey you've had, if you can make life better for somebody else, you're willing to take maybe, I don't know if you call it a risk, but
Right.
if people want to judge you on one way or another, I think we all have to learn is that, do we feel comfortable in our own skin? Do we like ourselves?
Well, I learned to develop what they call a thick skin. Okay, I don't get offended too easily. I can't say I don't get offended, but I don't get offended too easily. So if I put that out there to help others who may have to go through the same kinds of things, if I put out the truth and somebody doesn't like it and they want to make a bad feeling or bad comment or whatever, I have learned to let that go.
Yeah, they're entitled to their own opinion.
Yeah,
Fine.
because that's it. We don't all think the same way. Yeah.
No. Well, here's what you say about yourself then. Okay, we're going to take off the gloves. No, not really. But I think it's really wonderful what you say about yourself, and people should hear this. A disabled solo nomad woman on a tight
Yes.
budget, lived in a car from childhood, and this is all truth as the day is long, now shares her life and journey while trying to teach, encourage, to motivate, and inspire others to find love, joy, and peace. I mean, what could be better than that? Well, wait, there's more. You share poetry, do-it-yourselves, DIYs, how-to videos, as well as you do your live stream as well as you help other people on their channels a whole lot. You interview, you do RV tours, you share scenic locations, you discuss health. Wow. Preparedness coming up, struggles, depression, and a whole lot more.
Yeah.
How about that?
That pretty well sums it up.
I mean, then when you start saying, well, you talk about off-grid life, boondocking, traveling, it's like, holy smoke, man, you've got a full plate. But no, I think what I'm trying to say is you sort of have a variety channel. And I think that's kind of nice rather than have a one-show pony, is that, you don't have it to where it's a specific formula each week. And so I think it's great because I believe you have a very strong creative side. And I think that helps spark your life.
Well, my mind is always going. That's what it is. My mind, it never stops. I don't sleep at night. I can't stop the thoughts. So there's always going through my head things that I need to do and start or finish or complete or do it different ways. So I'm always thinking.
Yes.
Thank goodness, because when you get older, that's what keeps you healthy mentally. If you're not always thinking, always coming up with things in your mind, you can lose it. I don't want to lose it.
That's a good point. And we could get really deep into the neurolinguistics and all that. But yeah, as long as you keep your mind flexible, so the synapses and the neurons are still kind of sparking some, then we're more likely to keep a better outlook on life and a better memory. And the one thing I would like to say, though, is that Of the 14,500, I know you've done a house call, but I don't know if you've done more than one house call. So I think there's still 14,999 of us that are a little bit, how would you say it? I wouldn't say jealous, but with Derek and Tanya of Van Life Voyages, I know you go by their house and you haven't been the rest of our houses. What's up with that?
Well, unfortunately, I would love to travel more. And I will, if I come to California, I guarantee I'm going to come find you. But I can't travel as much as I could. My health doesn't allow it. So I'm kind of more stationary this year, only recently. And so I would love to travel. I would love to go to Mayberry. I would love to have gone to the Oregon meetup and go. I just can't do it anymore. I can't drive for more than 200 or 300 miles in a day, I should say, because my eyes get too tired, and it can't be a danger on the road. My eyes are still good, but when they get tired, I have to pull over and I have to stop. So I can't travel long distances anymore.
Yeah, we've talked about that on some of your videos before, and you've done a great job of, well, we won't talk about your 4 surgeries right now on your eyes, but I guess, no, but I was thinking, well, I guess that should about wrap up the interview. We've covered everything. So no, not really. We're just getting started.
See you all later. Thanks for having me, Michael.
Yeah, it's been fun. Yeah, it's been real. But, just on this note, I wonder, Grace, if you could come up for a moment, because one of the things that has been something that Grace and Tanya have had is about fibromyalgia. And so that's been another thing that has been certainly, if you were to make some of these long trips, like when Grace and I sometimes have a longer trip, is Grace, I don't know if you want to share any of yours or hear some from Dee, but you two have that in common.
Thanks for the warning there.
Yeah, don't you love it?
I thought he wanted me to put on a video clip or something. Didn't know we were going to talk about my pain meds.
Well, she could take 3 pain meds, but she's just finally went cold turkey and says no more.
I did?
That's what I did.
Did you? Good for you.
I don't take meds at all for the fibro at all.
Yeah, you have to be really careful. That's for sure.
I don't take meds for any of my pain. No pain meds at all, none. And I had to wean myself off of that stuff gradually.
Well, especially Vicodin. I mean, that's a powerful one. You'll take aspirin now, I guess Advil, but you've even stopped the Vicodin, haven't you?
I used to take a lot of ibuprofen and Vicodin constantly, a lot, because I was in a lot of pain with all the health issues I had, plus fibro. And but one day I said, I'm tired of walking in a fog. That's what I felt like. I felt like I was walking around in a fog. I was tired, sleepy, even when sometimes I still am without medication, but but yeah, I had to get off of medication. I learned how to cope with pain by doing that. What I found, I was in a wheelchair. One thing I learned is if you push yourself through the pain, then you can tolerate the more pain as you push yourself through it. The more you tolerate, the better your tolerance is, I guess it would say.
Well, keep on going is what I found. The more I keep going, the more I keep doing, the better I feel. The more I sit around, the worse I feel.
Right, exactly.
And one of the things you mentioned when you talked to Tanya Dee is about like Grace, the massage and things. No, she just don't touch because all the muscles, the nerves are all hurting so bad. And so Tanya, same way, right? What's that, darling?
That's just what I tell them.
Yeah, somebody said ibuprofen is hard on the kidneys. So is all the other stuff. Yeah, everything is bad for you. There's nothing that's good for you medically. Even prescriptions all have side effects. So you got to take the least bad for you.
Well,
Right.
when the disclosures in the commercial get to be longer than the commercial, you know
I
there's
know.
an issue.
Yeah, that's a
another-
good point, Grace.
That's another thing that got me off medications. Every time I went to a doctor, they wanted to put me on more. All I could read is all the side effects.
I know.
They were worse than the problem to begin with.
Oh, especially the depressants, and then they just want to,
Yeah.
we'll just up your medication some. And when
Oh, yeah.
Grace had so many dreams that she could make a Stephen King novels, and
I
at
know.
some point it's like not worth it.
Vivid dreams.
So did you want to play one of those clips that we have, Michael?
Yeah, we'll do that in just a second there. I just want to say is that regarding, your health, Dee, is that you did walking. One thing, Grace, she did have a year and a half, for whatever reasons, she had a miracle when we were up in Toronto, up there in, what would we say? Paula country, I guess, Van Dee Voyages territory. And, she put on these socks, Box socks, and there they are right there. And for some reason,
I couldn't wear them. Yeah.
No, most people, a constriction, those types of things are not good at all. But for some reason, I guess it was acupuncture in her feet for a year and a half.
Right.
Suddenly she could start walking 10, 15,000 steps a day. So
Wow.
you never know for any one person. We just have to keep trying different flavors and
they
see
were-
what are the things.
They work better than anything because it's been about 16 years ago that I first got diagnosed. And for about a year, the Box socks were like miraculous. And I don't know if it's just because my body got used to them or if maybe the socks got old. But now, like when I initially put them on, within 15, 20 minutes, I started feeling less pain. And now they work still great. And I still do highly recommend Box socks for a lot of people. I would always say try them. It's worth a try. But for me, I used to trip a lot. And right here, the support system in the foot, I haven't fallen in 2 years. So that part in itself is why.
And they say it's good for balance too. But my problem is the minute I put them on, I don't know what. Because the neuropathy is so bad in my feet.
Well, you've had it in your arm too lately, haven't you?
I don't know if that's neuropathy. I don't know what it is.
Okay.
I have numbness from up here in my shoulder all the way down to about 3/4 on my arm.
Ooh, ouch. Yeah, I've had some impingements on my shoulders.
And on occasion, it goes all the way to the fingers. But
I'm going to go ahead and drop out. I have
Okay, and we're going to talk about Dee's secret now next, and that is one of the things that have been a big
my secret.
Well, it's got her through the last 5 years. But
Oh,
no, this is something, your new channel. I'd like to talk and promote your new channel. And so I have a video that is not the main part, but she has a new channel. It's not easy to find because she has 130. Oh, excuse me. I subscribed, 139 followers now. And it's if you search for D God's Word, if you're interested in some of the liturgy, but it has an N. I know, but I'm saying is you don't have to have the N in there. If you just search for 3 words, because you may not know that her name is really Nadine, and that's where the N comes from, but it's DEEN, God's Word. But if you just type in D space God's space Word, you'll get to this new channel. She's got about 10 videos up, and we're not going to get into prophesize, and she doesn't do that on that channel either, but I do have, if I go over to I think the brand and down at the bottom, I think we have a really nice video. It's ASMR kind of stuff. It's about music, and she has some of it that she's also done and put excerpts there, but I think it's at Lake Havasu, but we'll talk about it in a minute. Okay, well, how about that? And so I guess, I look at that and I say, whatever God means to you, God is everywhere. And I think as I wrote to you, and I liked Albert Einstein, who said something along the lines of, is that either you believe everything's a miracle or nothing's a miracle. And I think that's such a nice thing to do, where it's not always just the liturgy, but just, you know, you've talked about angels, and we'll talk about angels in your life. But I just, when I saw that, it touched me, Dee. I just wanted to let you know.
Good. I'm glad. Yeah, I don't preach on that channel. It's a spiritual outlet for me. One thing, mostly I just read the scriptures from the King James Bible. That's pretty much what the channel's about. But I had noticed my speech is getting better the more I do that. So it's helping me. And hopefully it'll help other people too.
Well, I could use some help, and so I have definitely signed up for it. I just wanted to be sure that people knew about that, because you know, it's still all the same. What your ultimate goal, as we talked about, inspire, kind of motivate, and to help people. So whether you can do it in RVing or YouTubing, or some spirituality that have really got you through the very bad times, is that whatever the magic words are, you're just doing it to be helpful.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we're going to get into some questions. As I told you before we did the interview, is that if I ask you a really oddball question and you think, well, Michael, that's a little personal, you just say the word reverse, and I'll answer that question about myself, okay?
Okay. All right.
So I'm not going to be trying to get too personal.
Does that mean you have difficult questions planned?
TBD, to be determined. You wait and see. So, at any rate, from a YouTuber's RV perspective, is that how do you like this? You're creative, inventive, you improvise, and you're an economizer.
Yeah.
Is that what you kind of say is when you do your videos, is those are some of the main elements, or what others have maybe I've left out? Creative, inventive, you improvise, and you try to economize.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
Okay, I thought it was. I thought, you know, it kind of, as I got thinking about and saw some of the things, I thought, and the economizing stuff, you know, I don't consider you cheap at all, but you like to get good value for your money.
Right.
And so I think a lot of your videos, what you like to share is you don't have to spend a lot of money to get good value for, I guess what it all boils down to is, what is the benefit we get out of something? We don't do things to impress other people, but we do things to try to have it where we can get something that works to make our life or somebody else's a little bit more comfortable.
What makes your life easier. So I'm a person that believes in making everything as simple and as easy for me as I can, because I don't have the energy. So like that last video I did on tips and tricks, that's what I talked about. Everything is set up for me in my rig for ease of getting to things, not having to dig through things, then spend another half hour and put everything away. You know? So ease.
Exactly. And some of it's efficiency. I guess I should have included that one too, but I have 4 little snippets from your most recent video, which I think it epitomizes where you get a lot of value from other people. Now, a lot of it you do just because it's in your heart, like the live streams.
Yeah.
But some of them, as we'll talk about later, you get 10,000 or more views, which doesn't hurt your channel, doesn't hurt you to kind of get a little bit something back from YouTube. And we'll talk about that. But can I show a couple snippets from those?
Sure.
And then you kind of comment? Okay, here comes the first one.
So I love baskets because I have to use them for everything. I use a ton of baskets in this truck for storage and putting things even on this little shelf under the main shelf. What I do to secure them to the board is use double-sided Velcro or double stick tape, usually double-sided Velcro for those things there, so it will not move around when I'm traveling. So in my kitchen, I also use double stick or double-sided Velcro under everything that is sitting on the counter that would move when I'm traveling. When I travel, I put things like that teapot and the bottle over in the sink.
So a couple of things. First is I have a buddy, Paul Stabell, a fellow videographer, and on his tripod, he had these big tripods with the heavy cameras back in his day.
Yeah.
And he had all this Velcro, and he always would be sticking all these things on it. He looked like Spider-Man or something, had all the stuff stuck on the side of it. And then I see where you've got your sink, and I see, okay, you're going to put your loose tea bottle is going to go in there, and you're going to put your coffee pot or hot water pot in there. And I'm just wondering, do you put your dog Max? Does he go in there too?
No, he has a little basket up in the cab.
Good. Shoot,
And
I was worried about
crawls in
that.
that when I travel. That's what he has a bed, but he didn't like it. So I put it in the basket. It's a comfort zone for him. So he gets in there when we travel. He doesn't have to worry about getting thrown around if I had to have to slam on the brakes or something.
That's
So
important. Yeah,
he's safe there.
where he's safe there. Yeah.
Kind of like a car seat.
I guess it sort of is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I've got some more. That was just the first part. So here we're going to go take a look at the segment. You did have some really great ideas to make it so that, because you move around a fair amount, so this keeps it efficient. So the next part.
My magnetic knife rack. This is probably the sturdiest, best knife rack I've ever seen. Everything's very solid. Never move in it at all when I travel. I decided let's try some wire ties, which is another thing I couldn't live without, wire ties. So I stapled the wire ties to the wall and then wrapped it around the power supply where I don't have to get to anything, where nothing plugs in on the top and the bottom. I can still pull the cords out without it dislodging from the wall.
Wow. All of a sudden, she's got her 7 knives out there and her scissors, and then she goes on. They say when you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And you've got a stapler. You kind of go around, and what you did with that terminal strip, I wish I was smart enough to come up with that idea. But you should have a patent on that one. That was such a good idea because, when you're fiddling in it, you got to put your hand on one side to pull it apart, and you've got it very smart.
Yeah.
Incidentally, your knife
the
rack,
reason I had to do that, not only would the Velcro not hold it, but I tried to put screws in. My eyes are so bad, I never get the right exact spot that you put the screw to. On the back of a power strip, you have the holes that you can sit on screws. I never can get them in the exact right space. So that's why I said, I can't fight it. I tried 15 different holes that didn't match up.
Yeah. And I should say that, I've seen some people in the comments where, but these knives, they should be pointing the other way, down. Well, if you've got all the weight on the top, that's not so good. You'd want it this way, but she doesn't have just one bracket here. She's got 2 brackets. So that stuff is stuck on there. And even if it was a big bump, it's not going to go, and she hit something, it's not going to go in the front where she's at there, where she's sitting.
And
when
a
she's
lot
driving.
of people commented on that in the video, and I will explain. I do both ways. It was pointing up for the video because I wanted to look organized, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really like them up because when I reach on the shelf there, I could cut my arm, okay? So that's true. So I usually have some up, some down, just kind of to balance. And if they're up, when I'm traveling, I'm in the cab. I can't get cut when I'm driving, okay? When I'm in the house, that's a different story. So the worst that can happen is fall in the sink,
Right. In fact, when we were at Hendy Park just a couple days ago, Grace said, I don't know, Michael hit a bump and we flew up about 3 feet. Well, that was us in the front. Now the grandkids were more towards the back. It took them about 15 seconds before they came back down, but they fell right back in their seat. So there was no problems there.
That's a good story, Michael.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen the movie like Goldfinger, where Odd Job gets flipped out or something like. It wasn't bad. They ended up right back in their seat.
They can put Velcro on then and hit the ceiling and hang.
That's right.
There you go.
Okay, so we're going to get a little bit in all these wonderful interviews. I thought, she's done so many interviews. Like, man, what will I speak about? But I want to give an homage to all the wonderful interviews that you've done. So, Cheap RV Living, Bob Wells. So you've done Face to Face. You've done, and you've had at least 5 now that you've done.
Right.
And so you've had a lot.
And I did an interview of him too.
And you've done an interview of him also. So
yes.
We're going to save that one for just a little bit because there was so much there that's true. But Van Vita Travels, like you said, you did the one in January. And you've also done one on your own now in Gambling and Addiction. That's been a real big hitter. We'll talk more about that. But managing your channel, female solo life experiences, inspiration. She's done some awesome interviews for you. And I thought that was great. So big hit there. Van Life Voyages, here again, started in last October, and then a couple in February. You interviewed them on one of them, just like you said with Bob Wells. You've been to their home in Kern County, and you've been on the Kern River with them. And so really dear friends of yours, aren't they?
Yes, very.
And then here's...
First, I got attached to them before I met them. Once I met them, I'm hooked.
Yeah, they are fun. The thing is, I almost feel like I need to wear adult diapers because, if they make me laugh so loud, I'm not so sure.
No. Well, with them, what you see is what you get.
Right. Yeah. And Johnny's journey. In fact, I have a little video snippet that shows, where, normally you don't dress up, but this one, you look kind of classy. And I don't know if you're getting ready to go on a date with Johnny or things, but check a look at
did what I could for my limitations and my knowledge skills. I love working with tools. As you know, I have a whole garage full of tools, but I'm not a pro. So it is what it is.
Man, you're a good looker on that one. Were you looking for a date? Woo. No, but she's done a lot in terms of, in February, she did a interview. I know she did a lot to help you with your water and things like that, but she's a wonderful person. And I just thought it was a great video. And at the end of it, she had something that really choked me up. And if I could, I'd like to read what she had to say because she expressed it so much better. And I'd like everybody to hear what she said. Dee, you will never know the multitude of lives that you have touched. You inspire others around the world to rise above their fears and weakness. Your honesty, faith, strong will to live your best life, and touch of stubbornness are a few of your key ingredients that make you an amazing person. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being you. I need you in my life, and I'm blessed and honored to call you my friend. Wow, wasn't that sweet?
Wow.
Johnny, she really said it beautifully.
Yeah.
So Forever Best Friends, in June, she also did an interview on solo female safety on the road with Charlie Grace. And I guess you've learned to get the right balance in terms of have freedom and safety, haven't you?
Yes, I have. I don't live in fear. If something's gonna happen, no matter how prepared you are, it's gonna happen. You need to do what you can, but beyond that, I have to trust in God. I only can do so much.
Yeah, you've had no stranger to abuse as a young girl, in high school. Men in your lives, and so you've endured those storms and came out the other end. We don't look for problems, but on the other hand, you've certainly in the last 5 years you've kind of been, I guess, kind of like the phoenix. You've emerged from the ashes and you've come back in spades, and bless you for that. So also, I guess speaking of the women's side, let's talk about it live in June. You did a women's kind of diving into discussions and debate, I guess, with Beyond Beauty 3. And so you I don't say you only do things with women. You're happy to help men too, but if you can inspire them, I guess that's part of what you do as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I'm comfortable. It's funny. In relationships, I do very poorly with men. But in conversation and relating to them, I do very well. I'm very comfortable with men and in conversation.
Yes.
Probably more comfortable than women. I don't know why that is, but I don't know. Anyhow, yeah. So
Well, I
I'm
just think
comfortable.
sometimes we pick somebody that's a compliment of us, and if we're really nice and we're not always aware that the other person, when you want to give, they want to take, it's like, well, you got to be a little careful. Eventually, we learn how that one works. But you also had an interview with Daryl. He's up to 10,000 now. Van City Adventures and Redheaded Riding Hood. Red, you're really moving quickly. And, the discussions on depression and mental health, I thought have been great discussions. And then Love
And
Hut
Artists
for
on the
Life.
Road also interviewed me.
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah.
How did that go?
That went pretty good. I was still, at that point, it was really hard for me to do interviews. I get so nervous. I'm feeling much more confident, much more comfortable when people interview me. Sometimes I feel I'm on the screen too much. People would get tired of hearing about Box Van Dee. So
Well, I don't think we do
sometimes
on
I
your
don't
live
like to
streams.
do an interview just for that reason.
Okay. Well, I hope I'm not pushing too hard or anything.
No.
You let me know if I need to back off. So.
It's very comfortable.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And here's another one that I know that great people for you. Bob and Debbie, Blue Wave Odyssey. You've did that face-to-face meetup, I guess, where you finally got a chance to see them.
Yes.
But aren't they super people?
I love them. I'm very close to them, even though I only met them once. But I spent 3 days with them. It was a wonderful time. I got to know them pretty well. And Bob has always been there for me from the day I started my YouTube channel and even before that. So I can't say enough good things about them. I know I'm not the only one they've helped.
Oh,
I'm
no.
not the only one they've been there for. Half of this community came along when Bob was doing his live streams, and he was always helping people and promoting their channels and helping them personally.
Yes.
And
still is. Yeah.
Yeah, it still does. And like I said, I can't say enough good about Blue Wave Odyssey. Bob
I'm
and
almost there. If I had more hair on my head, I could say more good about him. But no, he's a great guy. No, he's really gives a lot back. And,
Yeah.
when they're going through the Christmas cards and things like that and sharing all the
Right.
people, they're still every bit that way.
Oh, yeah.
So he was a face-to-face. And the last one I'll speak about was Van and Travel, I guess it is. And that was another face-to-face, I guess, down there on Plamosa Road in BLM territory. So,
Yeah, I've met a
yeah,
lot
you
of
like
people
those,
in
don't
person.
you?
Yeah.
So speaking of which, I understand that in next January, this lady Box Van Dee is kind of thinking about having a meetup herself. Huh? Is that right?
We are definitely going to have a meetup. Van Life Voyages, Kelly Banderella, and Johnny's Journey and I are getting together and organizing a very casual meetup in January, probably the middle of January, on free BLM land where people don't have to pay for it.
Right.
And we're going to keep it very casual. We're going to get together in this next week to discuss how we want to set it up. But we'll be coming out with information on that later in the year. But
If you need my help,
do it.
if you need my help, let me know. I'd be happy to be on your committee.
All right, thanks.
By the way, it's going to be a double BYO double B. You not only bring your own booze, but you're going to bring your own buffet for this, right? Snacks maybe, but You're not going to have hot food served.
We're not going to do potlucks.
No potlucks.
I got sick on Thanksgiving because the food was not cooked. And I think that's why. I was sick for 2 days straight. I thought I had COVID. So that's pretty scary after eating uncooked turkey or whatever. I don't trust food that's sitting out in the elements. Too much bacteria and who knows what. And food is always getting cold. So I do small groups of potlucks. You know, I'll get together with 3 or 4 or 5, 6 people, but not big gatherings anymore.
Yeah.
I don't just, you don't know. You don't know.
I have one of these little propane burners that's more like a blowtorch. You know, I could bring that and I could heat it up right on the plates. I mean,
there you go. There you go. People can do anything they want. I just,
you can't enforce it.
I'm not going to set it up. That's all.
No, but this won't be part of the plan.
Yeah, I will not control what other people do. I don't care to control what other people do. I want them to have a fun time and do what they want, anything they want.
Okay. So we're going to get off now to talk a little bit about your love life. We're going to talk about the Wawa man. That's that little guy with the big bone, the one, the only, the Chihuahua pupster Max.
And he's laying up on the bed, relaxed.
Yeah, you've had him for over 3 months now, and you got him in early March. And so it was a gift from Grace, a lady who lives near Tahoe. So tell us a little bit about Max.
Max is a wonderful dog. I couldn't have planned it any better. She realized that I had lost my service animal. She knew I wanted a new dog, another dog. After several years, I went without one. And she came and met me in Quartzsite and had a meetup with me. And she discussed it, and she went home. And she was like a long ways very long drive from me. And she was involved with a rescue animal program. And she fixed me up with Maxie. Anyhow, Max is a rescue animal. He's a wonderful dog. He's 7 years old. He had a few issues when I first got him. Pretty much the only problem I have with him right now, he's still an escape artist. He loves to escape. And then I have to kill myself just trying to find him. But he doesn't have much fear. He doesn't like heights. He doesn't like to get up on the bed unless he has the whole bed to himself.
Okay.
Then he can spread out. He's always afraid he's going to fall off the bed. Even if I put him on the other side, then he feels confined or something. So he sleeps on the floor at night.
But
in the daytime, for nap time, he will lay next to me for some reason. I don't know. It's because it's light and he can see or what.
I suspect, he's had something somewhere in his life where he's got a traumatic experience, just like you have.
He has a fear of heights.
We have those triggers,
Even really doesn't like to have to go down those deep steps in my truck to get out. But he's learned he has no choice.
Well, and sort of like our Siberian Husky Kaliki, Max loves to advertise his special gifts. So he likes to tag his territory on a whim. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They want to advertise. I've been here. I've been there. You know, that's something that they pick up somewhere in their past. And it's like, well, God love them. So they do what they do. That's
a funny story, Michael. I want to share this.
Please do.
The very first day I got Maxie, he peed on 2 different people's feet.
I've heard you say that. I wasn't going to bring it up.
And I said, oh my gosh, I didn't know how I was going to stop him. Once I dealt with all I had to do is pull him with the leash. And if he started to go pee on something, I would tell him no and pull him away. He really doesn't do that at all anymore. But he did the first 2 days. I don't know if it's because he was so new and it was new environment, new people, fear, discomfort, whatever it was. but he doesn't do that anymore.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm getting goosebumps. I wouldn't have expected I could plan this, but I have the answer. I didn't plan this at all with Dee, but just watch this other part of her video. I thought I didn't have time to show it, but I'm going to make time to see. Here's what she could have done and will do in the future. Down in Quartzsite, you do this, Dee. This is one of your inventions. Watch this now.
This is my go-to cleaner. Half water, half vinegar. This is a great antibacterial and disinfectant cleaner. Do dishes with it. It's edible, it's safe, it won't hurt the environment because it's natural. So I use this for everything. You can go out and spend a lot of money on different kinds of cleaners, but I guarantee you they're not going to clean any better than vinegar. Also use cup hooks to hang my drone with small bungee cords so I don't have to worry about that getting destroyed when I travel.
So next January, Dee is going to be like, excuse me, oh, my dog tagged on your leg. Here, I've got vinegar and water. Shh, shh, shh. It's better now.
Well, remember, tags don't count anymore.
That's right. Tags do not count anymore. That's right. We don't count them. YouTube doesn't count them. And, sir, you don't need to worry about them either. but wait a second. What about this? You have all these, like, cup hooks. And you use them everywhere. You've got bungee everywhere. You're like Spider-Woman.
Yeah.
But wait, there's more. So she's got her drone. It's upside down. Now, I realize these are all made in China, and you think that they're probably the other side of the world. But, the drones are supposed to fly upright. You've got yours. It's upside down. What's up with that? A Chinese drone upside down. I don't get it.
my friend Nomadic Hippie, one day he was doing drone or something, and I said, oh, that is so cool. All of a sudden, within a month, I had this drone in my mailbox. So he sent me this drone. I've tried so many times to fly this drone. Every time I try, I crash it. I'm so, I need somebody to come and work with me. I don't know if I have a trigger finger or what, but I can't seem to get it to fly right. So
Yeah.
when
And
somebody, when I get a visitor
fly.
that knows how to operate them, they're going to have to work with me.
Well, I'll be there in January, if not before. And I've got a couple myself, and I can take one of mine out of the stables if that one's not working. But some are, admittedly, the servos and things, the six-way servos, they're hard to get calibrated. But anyway, we're going to go to another person, another one of your guardian angels. How about Cargo Dan?
Oh, definitely. He is definitely an angel in my life.
Yeah, he's done a lot to get you kind of going. He's kind of always there. How far away does he live from you?
He's about 75, 80 miles from where I am right now. And he's done several things, helping me with my generator. When I first bought the first generator, it was bad. I had to drain the oil, drain the gas, pack it up, return it to the store. He helped me with that. Then I bought a new generator. I couldn't haul it, so I had to buy a trailer to haul it. What he did is it built out my little utility trailer so I can haul my generator and set it up as like a mini box van for all kinds of storage. So he's done that. He's done a lot of, installed the air conditioner, the new one, in the back of my truck. He insists. I don't even have to ask. I mean, that's kind of the kind of friend people need, is somebody that they would recognize a need, and they recognize you can't do it, and they just step in and offer to help. And that's the way Dan has been with me. And his wife is wonderful. They treated me like I was a queen while I was there. She cooked, and they were so hospitable. I've gone out on their pontoon several times. They always say, bring a friend. So sometimes I do. Anyhow, they're great.
That's good. Well, I just had to be sure that we gave them a nod too. And I see that some of the people are going to need to go RV Living Life. And I'll tell you, we need to start letting the questions come in. So, right, QQQ, if you have a question. And as you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to get to that last and best on the list for your guardian angels. No doubt that one of your archangels would be Bob Wells with his Cheap RV Living channel. And having watched many of his how-to van videos, it actually helped you to learn to be a nomadic lifestyler yourself.
Yes,
So
yes.
you went to his Rubber Tramp rally, and I guess his number one video was one that was with you. You became one of his disciples, and
Yeah.
he's got over 4 million views on that. It was living in a car on $800 a month. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Yes, it has probably closer, getting close to 5 million views right now. Who knows? But it's still going and it's still growing. And so yes, I found Cheap RV Living on YouTube before I even started my journey.
Right.
I have been watching a lot of his videos. I started my journey in October, and the meetup RTR was in January. So just a few months after I started my journey, then I went to the RTR. All his advice, all the things he taught me through his channel have helped me immensely. And I already knew how to be a nomad. I already knew how to live off the, without utilities and things like that. But he taught me through his channel so many other things, like using a composting toilet, how to bathe in the desert when you have very little water, my vinegar solution. I learned that from Bob Wells.
Mhm.
So I learned so much from Bob Wells, and I mean, he's just a man. He's just a man. That's all we are. We're just people. But his willingness to share what he knows and help other people is a good thing. And that's where I am. I want to help other people. I want to help people that know that I can do it. Anybody can. If I can do it, anyone can.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's kind of, when you say that, I hadn't thought about it in that context, but as we know, the cliche that is also true with you, paying it forward. So yes, you certainly give accolades to Bob, which is great, but you then have been taught to fish. And so just like a biblical story is, we're want to be a fisher of men and women and things like that. So, you have your, at that time, meager $800 a month. And not only that, he's learned to grow his YouTube channel. You've learned to grow your YouTube channel. So you, not to be wealthy, but to have a little bit more comfortable life, and to use that to kind of share with other people so that they can have a comfortable journey too. So I think paying it forward is, what better compliment can you have? What do they say? Imitation's the most sincerest form of flattery.
Yep. And like that, what you were saying, give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach him how to fish. He can eat for the rest of his life. So you can help people in a lot of ways. Giving them things is not always the answer. More importantly, teach them how to do things for themselves. That
is true. Do we have a question from Traveling with Special Abilities, and she wants to know, are you nervous about boondocking alone? She will be trying it next year.
At first, I was very nervous about boondocking with nobody around, but I did it for the last 5 years pretty much. So all I would say about that is, if you're going to do that, just be cautious. Make sure you're around somebody. Make sure you're in areas where you're not vulnerable. Always have an escape plan. I have a lot of suggestions about that, and I'm sure a lot of other people have put those different suggestions how to be safe on the road when you're boondocking a woman alone or a man alone on their YouTube channels. But yeah, those are the main things, is just be cautious. and don't put yourself in a position that makes you too vulnerable.
Yeah, common sense a lot of times.
Yeah.
Do you have a specific video that you address that?
I don't know which one it was. I have a lot of stuff on a lot of different videos. So I guess I need to work harder on my playlists.
Well, we look forward to that. And as we get the questions, I'll go ahead and put those up.
No, thanks for that question. And for those who are producers, especially for Dee, who has inspired so many people with special needs or disabilities, whichever you want to call it, it gives us tips. So thanks for bringing this up. Maybe it's something that if we haven't done enough of it, we should do some. I will say that Endless RVing, Izzy and MJ, he being a peace officer still, is that, he's done some. So as if, for instance, if you are like a little concerned about where you're going, there's nothing to prevent you from finding out what's the telephone number for police or maybe where the hospital is if you should need that. My 94-year-old mother, she has one of these first alerts, so she can just push the button even if she's had a stroke. And oh, by the way, don't you know, Dee has had strokes in the last 5 years. So, some of those things you just have to be aware of what your needs are.
One of their suggestions, always let somebody know where you're going to be, so that if you come missing, somebody's going to come looking for you. Always let somebody know where you're going to be. You don't want to announce the exact location on YouTube, okay? But you can have personal friends in your community that will know where you're going to be, or family members or somebody like that. So that is important. Michael, I wanted to mention, I have been switching back and forth every other Sunday with Van Life Voyages on my time slot at 5 p.m. Pacific time for the last couple months. Starting this Sunday, they're going to do their Sunday at 5 o'clock. From that time forward, they're going to just do their Wednesdays. I'm going to go back to do it every week on Sunday at 5 o'clock Pacific time. I'm not going to go to Mountain Time because it's too confusing every time the time changes.
Right.
So I'm going to stay on Pacific time permanently. I will be doing live streams again every Sunday at 5 o'clock Pacific time. So I just mentioned
that's
that.
good to know. Thank you for that. Yeah, I have seen where they've taken that slot. They've done a wonderful job, and you've certainly helped them to get their 4,000 hours, and they are off flying themselves now. Yeah. So good to have you back again.
They're doing great. I remember when they were very, very small. And I remember 1 or 2, 3 people in their live streams. Now they're getting a lot more people, and their people are starting to really get attached to them. So I'm grateful for that. Yeah.
And I hear they're having a personal locator beacon. And like Dee says, just have an accountability partner, someone that you check in. My mother, she has several friends in the neighborhood where they check on each other every day. Like I say, 94 years old. She kind of like Dee, she enjoys her freedom. In fact, Dee, what is the name of your van?
My van is called Delightful Freedom.
Freedom.
And my little trailer is called Delightful Freedom 2.
So anyway, speaking about Dee's, we're not going to get into a lot of her childhood and men in her life that have been made it very hard for her. But we're going to talk about the more recent life and still having things there. So for instance, when she had hyperthyroid from Graves' disease and was hospitalized, had to irradiate her thyroid. She had severe weight loss and a stroke, lost her service animal, had 4 surgeries, and broken wrist and back to round things out. And yet she somehow Bob Wells certainly did a very gracious thing to have a GoFundMe account for her. But if you get a chance, read My Story Part 5, My History, and you can see how she emerged from the ashes in 2019. What a story, Dee. What a story.
Yeah. It's been a journey, and I don't want to candy coat it. It's not always easy. Nomad life is not for everybody. You have to be pretty tough to do this. But for me, it is a wonderful life for me. And I came from a long life of this kind of lifestyle, really. Uh, and because of that, I think I adapted easier than a lot of people can. And so it's not easy, but it's worth it. I have the freedom. I can do what I want, see what I want, be where I want. Uh, and I can think the way I want to think. So I have a lot of freedom that I didn't have before, and I feel safe. I have a huge community here on YouTube of people that truly love me. Some don't. That's okay. But I mean, I feel truly loved since I started my journey as a nomad, and I I never felt that before. All my life, I never felt loved. The last few years, I know I'm loved. I absolutely have no doubts that I'm loved.
I say, here's a question people have. Speaking of love, you, yes, you did live in the Midwest. You've lived in Washington and Oregon, our fair state here of California, and up in the north central states. But oops, the question went away about Tennessee. Let's see, there it is. Have you thought about boondocking or that's quite a ways for you to go if you thought about
Well,
getting
yeah,
out in
that's
different
the only
states?
problem is I couldn't travel that far.
Yeah.
I have been to Tennessee. Actually, I've lived probably in 40 or 42, 45 states out of the 50 of the U.S. 52 or whatever. Anyhow,
Could be.
during my life, I've lived in most of the states of the United States for very short periods of time. That's how much we traveled. I went to 19 schools in my junior year of high school in 9 months. So I have been all over the U.S. and I lived all over the U.S. Now I'm getting old. I hate to admit it, but I'm getting old. My health is not that great, although it's 10 times better than it was 5 years ago.
My wife says, wow, you beat me. Says she had quite a few
Yeah.
when her and her mom were moving all the time. But yeah, she had wherever the crops were growing is
Yeah.
where her family was. She had 4 siblings and
Yep.
they each had a cardboard box, and it
Yep.
was time to load up the cardboard box and head for the next
That's
city,
right.
next state. And that's what you did.
Yep. And so, yeah. So now my health is at the point I can't do that much traveling. I can travel 200, 300, 400 miles. But that's about as far as I can do it at this point. So I
Good.
would never make it to Tennessee. I won't make it back to the meetup in Mayberry. I can't go to Florida. I would love to go to some of those places. Unfortunately, I've seen it all in my life. I don't have a great memory of the traveling as a child. We did a lot of traveling, but it was a child's memory. So, but at least I've been there. And now I live vicariously through other people, other YouTubers that travel all over the world. So I can see the places I want to see by watching other YouTubers' videos, especially the people that are in this community. So
Boy, but you have done it all, like you said. For those of you who don't know, at one spot in time, she not only was in the Sausalito area when the PCs first came out, and she was kind of a techie person, believe it or
Yep.
not. And then
Hard
what do
to
you
believe.
think she did? Yeah, what do you think she did? She was dealt cards. I mean, in a California card room for 13 years, she could make on a good day up to $400 a day, before the Great Recession hit. The big spenders would
$800
come
a
in.
day.
$800. Texas Hold'em, blackjack. I mean, she was one of these people, you've got the green eye shade on. I don't know if she wore the glasses, but she was just dealing the cards, and you were quite a cookie back in those days, weren't you?
That's why I call myself as Jane of all trades. I was a truck washer. I washed diesel trucks. I have had so many jobs over my life. And I'll tell you the truth, I was never fired from a job in my life. I'm 69 years old. I probably held 40 different kinds of jobs. I've never been fired because I was that good of an employee. I quit, but I never quit till I had something else to go to either. So, yeah. So I've done so many different things. I've lived a very, 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 I guess I would call it productive life. Have had a lot in my life.
And so where would you like to travel? They're asking, I guess, within your jurisdiction, your area. Do you have anything that,
Yeah.
I mean, you go up to Kern County, I know that much, but is that kind of about the distance?
Well, I've been this past year I went to California.
Southern California, yeah.
Yeah. I haven't been there, and I've heard so much about it. Sedona. I'm going to go to Sedona this summer for sure, no matter what. If I have to go by myself, I will. But I'm going to Sedona. I'm going to go back to the Grand Canyon for sure. At least that. So that's 350 miles or something for that. But I definitely am going to do that this summer.
Well, you know, you Miss Warm-Blooded person. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm just going to say I haven't traveled much yet because I had a lot of health appointments or something.
But I was going to say, if you go in October, like Grace and I, when we were going around the United States in 80 or 90 days, we got there at the South Rim thinking, oh, it's 1,000 foot lower than the North Rim. But man, at nights it was down towards freezing, and you and your pup Max, it'd be a little cold at night. So I don't know if you can
go in October.
No, October is not the best time.
No. July and August is probably the best.
Yeah, once school gets back in session, I would say maybe even September you might be okay. I want to get a little bit of time on some of your stuff, you know, how you're taking care of business. So you do have a Amazon store. And by the way, for those of you who want to have an Amazon store, you better have 4,000 subs. You know, it's like, I thought, well, we've got 1,000 subs now, and I've applied with Amazon. They're like, no, not yet, Michael and Grace. So but maybe you can do it on Facebook or Instagram or, you know, another Pinterest if you have a lot of subs or equivalents there. But Dee, you, I don't know how long ago you applied. I assume it was in the last 6 months, but you have a not only affiliate channel, but you have a bona fide store. So some of the many things, the tips you've give, go to amazon.com/shop/Box Van Dee.
Right.
And you've got a great story there.
Yeah, and I always had the link down in the description box on my videos. So people can go there. They don't have to buy something in my store. If they go to Amazon through that link, anything they purchase when they go in through that link, I'll get a little residual from that.
Yes. And so you make a little bit from the people that are watching, you know, the 550,000. Well, unfortunately, a lot of them watched before you were monetized last year, but you get a little bit there and you get a little bit from the store. And then if people or want to, you do have a PayPal account where people can wire you if they wish.
Yes.
So regarding your channel then, so May 30th last year is when you skyrocketed from 1,500 subscribers to 10,000 by November. That was like such a big, whatever happened there in that month of May, it really helped. And that was about when you were starting to monetize anyway, when you had your subs and your view hours. And so let's see, 550,000 views now as of June 11th.
566,000, I believe now.
Yeah, I saw we're on your community channel where you had that little badge where they showed 550. Yeah, now you're 565.
I'm averaging about 3,500 watch hours every month. And I'm averaging a couple new subscribers every few days.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. As YouTube adds new subscribers, they also take off hours and subscribers that you gain, maybe not the subscribers, but the watch hours from the previous year at the same time. So Sometimes your progress, you lose it the same day. But anyhow, it's pretty cool.
It is well deserved too.
So I'm working to get 15,000 subscribers. And before numbers don't really matter that much to me.
Probably not.
It's more about true friends, making friends, making connections with people.
Mhm.
That's really what it's all about. But numbers do matter, I guess, because after a while you start looking at them.
Well, it means we're delivering value and hopefully some benefit to other people. So your number one video, I'm sure you know what it is, on October 14th, solo nomad woman converts her own box van at age 68. Then it got you 63,300 views and 743 comments. I mean, that's when they say you're relevant and you're getting interaction. And 743. That's be a hard one to keep up with all those.
It is
wonderful. That was a great video.
My videos today average almost always at least 500 views.
Yes.
But the reason that you get more views, it's not just when you first put out the videos. I talk about residual. Your videos are still on YouTube. If somebody comes in that you put that video out a year ago, people still watch your videos now. You're going to still get the views, new subscribers, new watch hours. The difference between videos and live streams, and I love both. I don't have anything bad to say about either one. Live streams are great to get you there. But you need to put out videos because videos can continue to produce your hours, views, and sometimes money if you're monetized through the ads. Older videos, people go back and watch them. People rarely go back and watch a live stream.
So yeah, you've got some others that have been really good. Here's one for composting toilet for women, 34,000. Nomad women, 68 disabled builds out box van, got 13,000 with 330 comments. And a lot of these have just been just like that. I'd love to spike more, but I want to share with them one of your talents. And I thought it was great.
I want one video to go really viral. One video in my life to go to 100,000 views. I would love that.
It is going to happen. You know, ours, by the way, we've got about 60,000 views on one that we were just lucky. We were up there at Montana, Little Bighorn. We had a really good person we interviewed, and that thing has taken off because a lot of people are really interested in the plight of the American Indian and what really happened at Custer's Last Stand. And so, you know, it wasn't like we did all that one, but sometimes you never know. Maybe it wasn't our best video, but it was what people were looking for. So don't be afraid to try things, even if it doesn't always think like it's the best one. So here we go. I want to get this before the end of the hour. Amazing Grace video.
So here goes. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I am found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed.
I am not worthy.
Way up. We are not worthy. You did it.
Thank you,
we could go
guys.
on for hours, and I guess there's nobody after us. Let's see.
Gina is not going.
Gina
live
has
tonight.
off. She's got grandkids, and we have grandkids upstairs. So I don't know. Hopefully the house is still. I don't smell anything smoking, so that's a good sign. But this has been a wonderful. Do you have any questions for us, though, Dee, or anything else that you would like to speak about to our audience out there?
Just, I think I want to say that you put out wonderful travel videos. You're very supportive, and people may not know that, but you've been very supportive to me without me ever even mentioning I need support in the ways you've supported me. And all I can say is thank you. You guys have a very sweet, giving heart. You're very friendly. You need to get to know these guys, people. If you haven't met them, go to a meetup. Meet up with them, because I haven't met them yet, but I'm going to.
We're going
for
to
sure. And so I love your videos. When I first met you, Michael, I'll go ahead and say what I'm gonna think. I thought, wow, you're so smart. You're way beyond me. Okay, I thought you had so much knowledge, so sharp. I can't even come close to your thinking like you think. Then I got to know you. I've fallen in love with you guys. So I just want people to know they do have a lot of knowledge, and that's true, but they're very down to earth, very real. And I just love you guys. And I thank you for asking me to do this interview. I've been enjoyed it. I feel I talk too much, but but I always feel that
not
way,
at all.
so.
No. But no, that was, I think, why we're all so attracted to you is just because you have so much generosity and love in your heart. And what better than when you can be a role model to so many of us with your compassion? I mean, and here's something, my philosophy is that it's easy to be a good guy when things are always going well and to be generous. But, when things are going tough, that's the one, if you watch a movie, it's always where the hero, by the end of Act 2, everything's going miserable. There's not going to be a good choice. And I can remember, not to get political, but some people say when you're president, only the bad decisions make it to the top. There's no good decision. And that's, I think, where you've shown that you've endured those things and you come out a person that you're more worldly and you have things that are worth listening to. So I don't ever mind listening to you talk.
Even when I stutter.
Even when you stutter.
I did
What's
want
that, Grace?
to thank our mods for being here. We appreciate you. And also to let you know that you can find in the links below the link to Box Van Dee as well as her new channel. So be sure to check that out when you can.
Thank you.
And I'm going to go ahead and go upstairs, make sure that it's not burning down, and feed those youngins.
Thank you, Grace.
Well,
You did a wonderful job, too. And thanks for Sue and all the rest of the mods out there.
And Michael, thank you for having me. I'll tell you right now, my bladder's ready to go. So I'm going to step down and let you finish saying goodbye to everybody.
Okay, well, hug and love. So thanks a lot, Dee.
Thank you.
We'll talk again soon.
All right,
Happy
bye-bye.
trails to you.
Thanks.
You're welcome. And so to all the rest of you, thank you very much for being here. And I guess that I'll kind of wrap it up here. And sorry that Gina isn't going to be here with it this week. It's been one where, she's doing God's work, being with her grandchildren. And boy, the temperature being like, it's even warmer than Dee's territory. I don't get where Oregon, I thought it was supposed to be such a green state, but I guess you learn to find the air conditioner or the water and things like that. We just got back from our trip up there about 100 miles north of us at Hendy Redwood Park. It's not, Redwoods and Woods Park, but had a great trip up there with the grandkids. And so we'll be looking forward to getting some more of our videos out soon. I have a couple wrap up there from Oregon where we did some e-bike riding on the Rogue River. And we're looking forward to going up to up there in Nomak country. The Nomak experience, Kevin. a couple of weeks ago, he went up to Shaver Lake, which is kind of down in the Fresno in the foothills in the mountains, about 7,000 feet. So we're heading out there on Sunday for a couple of days, and Grace wants to see the American Eagle. So we're going to take our long lens, hopefully get some shots, and we look forward to getting caught up with you as the week goes on. But if you get a chance on not today, but tomorrow, I guess, yeah, she's going to have her normal show back. Dee is going to. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of nuggets there. I think she said she was going to be doing a premiere show, so we can comment and she can go ahead and comment back. So if you're looking to get a YouTube channel started up, that's where to find her. So as always, thanks for being here. Happy trails to you. Until we meet again, peace out. Bye for now. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Bye-bye.